Look, it's currently whatever I just woke up, but look, I don't get paid enough for this. But look, I'm two beers deep, and what was the concept? I'm going to improvise a live zombies video essay for you right here. Classic Wakefire Paula style. Not that I have a style, but you know, and you know, the best course of action, the best source of inspiration is just to fucking, like, play zombies. I never actually do this, believe it or not. Like, I know I'm making like a 9-hour-long series on the whole lore. Trust me, I never played zombies. I hate the game. Like, I boot Revelations up. I'm like, yeah, you know, this whole big-ass apothecary, who gives a shit? Like, it looks cool, but like, it doesn't mean anything. It's just a listen, I'm gonna play the game for you, alright? Just to like, get an idea of what to talk about that's not related to zombies, but like, kinda tangentially is. So like, you know, classic shit I do. Alright, so World at War, ladies and gentlemen, now. I don't know why this shit is 4/3, but we're gonna boot up Der Reese, alright? So like, let's play on a trackpad, you know, for added horror. Server script compiler, you know how this relates to the zombies lore, bro? I don't know how long I'm gonna play this before I get inspired. I don't know what the topic will be, but you know, who looked at like ancient funerary rituals, like Aztec shit, and decided, hey, you know, this shit needs a pack-a-punch machine, you know what I mean? I'm gonna Google this shit right now to just figure out the whole history behind this thing. So hold on. Who made zombies hot? I mean, like, historically, like, in terms of trend, you get the fucking idea. Okay, so Reddit says they're metaphors for capitalism. Honestly, not as bad as I was expecting, but Tumblr says they're queer-coded. Bold take, but hey, what else is new? I'm alright, like, wait, Mesopotamia? Okay, now we're talking. This is a Wakefire topic right here. Alright, so based off of the research I've been doing here, listen, bro. You're fucking Mesopotamia. Alright, so listen, when I read the word Mesopotamia, I was like, hey, this is the fucking origins reference right here. Like, bravo, Jason Blundell, you've done it fucking again. Alright, listen, so this is this shit. You see this shit right here, bro? See this shit right here, bro? I don't know if this is not good. This is not good. Listen, I'm gonna explain it to you. All right, listen. These dudes, they had a big fear of the dead coming back if you don't treat them right after they die. You know, and like the whole thing there was like, hey man, if someone dies, you basically just like offer them shit after they die. So like Mesopotamia, bro, like it's a beer right here, bro. Like they had beer. They were known for beer. They were known for barley, whatever that shit is. I think it's related to beer. I don't fucking know. I don't know, like, you're asking the wrong person. Listen, I know COD Zombies are, I don't know shit about fucking irrigation, but like, they had food, they had crops, they had carrots, alright? After these motherfuckers died, they would like, basically like, offer these treats, these food offerings to these people. Actually, you know what, let me show you right here, wait, hold on. So, what would it be like? It's like, hey man, you fucking take like a fucking rice bag, and you fucking throw it in the fucking oven. You throw it in the fucking oven. Close that shit and you fucking put it to max. Is that the fucking smoke alarm, bro? What the fuck? Alright, much to popular dismay, I'm back. I had to tell my landlord not to worry about what just happened. I might be getting fined like $500, but hey, you know, like, the Patreon's not for nothing, you know? But you get the idea, right? They believed in this place called the Land of No Return. This sounds like a zombies creepypasta from like 2010, you know? Like, you imagine dying only to just like wake up in like an eternal DMV where you do like a lot of paperwork, a lot of ghosts just sulk around and do nothing. Point is, this fear of the dead not resting, it's not just spooky vibes. Alright, it's early humanity, like long ago, realizing that, hey man, grief doesn't go away just because the body's in the fucking ground, right? They projected all their guilt, regrets, and fears onto the idea that the dead could literally come back mad, alright? They could come back unsatisfied. That's profound. But also, like, at the same time, you know, if you believe in this stuff, imagine like your uncle just like low-key haunts you just because like you didn't RSVP into his tomb picnic, you know, like Just because you didn't offer him a fucking beer, you know what I'm talking about? Like, what the fuck is that shit like? Okay, so I'm reading up on all of this, but I just don't get like why they're so scared of it yet. Like, was it just trauma, or is this some like ooga booga cultural pipeline that they like made everyone afraid of bones? Like when I talk about the pipeline, you know what I'm talking about is kind of like fucking like, let me show you, bro. It's like this shit, you know, like it's like fucking this shit right here. You know, you turn out as a normal Catholic dude, and then you slowly transition into a rat. Not a woman, a rat, bro. And like if you want to take it further, my version of this, which is more apt, right? If I want to say like beware the pipeline, bro, it's like this, bro. Beware the pipeline. Beware the pipeline. Beware the pipeline. Upon doing some more research on the topic, I came across ancient Egypt. Listen, ancient Egypt, bro, listen, I've been listening to Creeping Death by Metallica. Die by my hair. Alright, so on a more serious note, it's not that funny. It's actually pretty horrifying. So, actually it's kind of funny. Wait, hold on. Alright, so Egypt, these people, they made their fucking, like, death their full-time job. Like, if you die, congratulations, bro. You gotta take your heart to HR, and you gotta pass a featherweight test. Like, you know what a scale is? Let me draw it for you. Like, I'm sure you don't know what a scale is. My Sharpie doesn't work for some reason. Imagine this, bro. See this shit? This is not a ball sack. This is a fucking scale. And, like, on one side is your heart, and on the other side is your is a feather. All right, I didn't draw those things. I just wrote them down because I'm not an artist. But the whole point is that you got past the test, and I don't remember what the test is. All right, so apparently the test is like if the heart is lighter than the feather, then that's a very good thing. It's like, hey man, you lived a good life. But if it's heavier, it's like, hey man, you're fucked up. You know, it should be lighter than the feather, but it's heavier than the feather. So it's like, you did some bad shit in your life. So like that's the type of people we're talking about here. You know, the ancient Egyptians, they were on this type of like shit. They invented mummification, which I'm sure everybody knows, but it's just like, you know, cryogenic stasis mixed with like Pinterest home decor, alright? You know, they take all your organs and they fucking like put them in jars and like Pokemon collectibles. And they wrap you in toilet paper and say, hey man, see you in afterlife, king, you know, that type of shit. But the whole point here is like, ancient Egypt might have been onto something more demonic than just, hey man, offer up a fucking beer to fucking like fucking, you know, some ghosts. Alright? Ancient Egypt was just not quite there yet. Like, they were onto something demonic. Like, they were onto something like, hey man, you know, like, it's getting into the evil territory, but they were still not there yet. Like, these weren't ghouls, alright? These weren't quite the guys rising up from the grave, alright? Like, these were more guys that wanted to come back after 4,000 years looking fine as hell, alright? So, like, hey, man, I understand that shit. Like, I agree with that shit, bro. But see, it plants the seed. It plants the fucking seed, alright? Like, if the, preservation, you know what that word means? I don't. Oh, I don't. But it plants the seed that death is reversible in the long run. That's what COD Zombies ultimately is, right? Like, if you go down the rake, fire, and Paula route, bro, like, that's what I'd be talking about. It's how you're really back to the shit. But wait, hold on. What if the zombies don't just lie in stasis? Like, what if they talk? In Zombies, for example, when they hit you, they say, like, Sam! You know what I mean? Like, referring to Samantha. So like, when does the whole talking to dead people's part, like, cause that's giving Ouija board shit, you know what I mean? Alright, so I'm researching this and like I came across Greek people, alright? So these are the classic overthinkers, alright? So like we got hypotenuse triangle, we got triangles, we got triangles. That's all they did. Well, that's all they did. They're known for nothing. Pythagorean theorem, I use that every day in my life. In Greek mythology, necromancy wasn't some like spooky thing. It was kind of like a ritual, right? It was like a literal spellcraft. Blood sacrifices, grave dirt, summoning spirits to ask, hey man, should I ghost this girl or not? Shout out to you, Hamza, brother. So like ultimately Greek people came up with like a lot of mythology around death. They had the whole fucking like underworld thing with Hades. I mean, that shit's dope as hell. It's very thought-provoking. And even if you don't believe in it, like, it has a lot of morals and, like, a lot of, like, analogies and stuff you can draw. And, like, it's very thought-provoking, ultimately. But then come the fucking Romans, alright? The Romans copy-pasted everything, alright? Let me tell you about fucking Romans, alright? Like, Romans, these dudes were the OG content farm, alright? Fucking myth plagiarists will lie. Like, bro, these guys were fucking, like, rebranding the whole Greek pantheon. Like, bro, like, they were saying, hey, man, this is Jupiter. It's basically Zeus, but he does taxes, like, but like it was the same type of shit. I mean, I can't say they did anything unique. They just plagiarized everything from the Greeks and they just called it Roman, and like, that's it. But it's the same type of principle. It's nothing unique. But it's getting a little bit more into that evil category. Not quite there yet. So the question here is, what happens when everybody dies? When death meets the masses? That's the question. Like, everybody dying all at once, sort of thing. Like, horribly. What does that make? Alright, so I came across the Aztec and the Mayans, bro, or the Mayans, I don't know how to pronounce it, but like, listen. These civilizations in Mesoamerica, they did not have zombies, technically, but they had cyclical death of some sort. Basically, like, it's a sort of whole ass calendars for the apocalypse, alright? So, like, the type of thing where you say, like, hey, every 52 years, I'm gonna reset the whole universe type of thing. It's... I don't know what they were smoking, but like, hey man. To them, it seems like, you know, sacrifice was just about feeding the gods to keep everything existing, sort of thing. So like, death was kind of seen as a currency. In the sense that the sun rises because someone's heart got offered up like a Spotify subscription sort of thing. Death wasn't scary to them, it was necessary for things to be. But that whole thing flips when the colonizers come. Suddenly the ritual dead gets painted as cannibals, monsters. You know, the zombie isn't born here, technically. We're not there yet. But the dehumanization of spiritual depth begins here. That's born. Now it's here we see death being turned into a sort of story to make a marginalized group into a sort of other, into a sort of less than. Now, with everything I read about Haiti, it's just looking at stuff. There's nothing to joke about here. When you hear the word zombie, what you're actually just hearing is Haiti, like at the end of the day. In Haitian voodoo, a zombie without the E is not some brain-munching cartoon at the end of the day. It's just a soul stolen, you know, that sort of thing. A person stripped of will, trapped, forced to labor, move, and just obey without spirit. It's not horror fantasy, it's just colonial trauma. This comes from a place in time where enslaved people lived through hell, quite literally. There's nothing funny about it. It's their greatest fear at the time. These people were just slaving away for their colonizers. It wasn't death, per se. It was just the idea that even after death, they came back as slaves and they were just forced to do what they were already doing, but just eternally. That sort of thing. The idea that you're not free, even in the grave. And that is where the zombie was ultimately born. And there were real accounts of zombification, right? There were people drugged, there were people buried alive, dug up, made into living ghosts. And that's not a scary story, that's not a creepypasta, that's just a crime against existence. And white colonizers saw all this shit, and they were like, hey man, let's turn it into a horror flick, you know? Let's turn it into white zombie. They took the pain of an entire group of people and it just twisted it into popcorn scares and never asked what it all meant, you know? And that's theft. It's theft of cultural and spiritual proportions. So the next time you see a zombie dragging its limbs on the screen, just remember, man, that's not a monster, that's just a metaphor that got looted. So fast forward into the modern world, and when I say modern, I mean like 1930s. The Western world, they started exoticizing these tropes. And by the Cold War, it's radiation, it's infection, it's consumerism, it's all sorts of shit. So since we're in the 20th century, it has to be mentioned that this is the moment that Hollywood looked at voodoo and said that, hey man, we can make this racist and boring, alright? The first real zombies film, White Zombie 1932. The movie title itself was already like a Kid Rock album with a Confederate flag on it, you know what I mean? And this wasn't just tone deaf, it set the blueprint. You know, the zombie became a vessel for like Western anxiety. About the other, about losing control, that sort of thing. About mass death. But never once did they ask, hey, where did this idea fucking come from, you know? So the next time you're pack-a-punching a shotgun in Kino der Toten, bro, just remember, you're standing on the bones of something way more than just undead Nazis, alright? So, wait, hold the fuck on. Bro, what if we're the zombies, though? Like, wait, hold on. For real, though, like, what if that Reddit guy was right at the end of the day? What if, not only is the fucking controller of zombies and Mob Dead the Aztec death guy, but also, we're just haunted meat puppets, doom scrolling our way through late-stage capitalism. Hey, who the fuck is Samantha Maxis, bro? Like, listen, I don't understand when I play Origins, like, why, like, she has the power to reach across the multiverse, but she's still fucking asking me to build a staff for her. Like, listen, I also played Classified, listen, I fucking know that she was in the closet as fucking Classified. I don't know if she's in that picture. Samantha? She's shy. The whole more of the story here is like, at the end of the day, you know, when I looked at the Pack-a-Punch machine and what's it called? What's the map called? Derice? When I saw the Pack-a-Punch machine, maybe the real Pack-a-Punch is just, maybe it's just the friends we made along the way. And I really need to fucking go to bed, bro.